Champ and the Case of the Mysterious Squeak Squeak. Read aloud stories from the Champ and Leo series. One evening, Champ was lazing around in the living room. Dave and Pammy were relaxing too. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Champ heard a very soft squeak squeak. Champ was immediately up and alert. He looked all around him, but he just couldn't figure out from where the squeak was coming. Pammy heard it too. She asked Dave, "Did you hear that squeak?" But Dave hadn't heard the squeak. He said, "No, Pammy, I didn't." That night, while Champ lay down to sleep, he kept thinking about that mysterious squeak. I hope that squeak doesn't happen again, thought Champ. The next morning, everything seemed normal. The day started as it always did, with Champ running around in the yard while Dave did some work outside. After a good amount of exercise, Champ went back inside and Pammy called out, "Come on, Champ, time for breakfast." As Champ was eating his food, there again the noise was, squeak, squeak. Champ was startled. He looked all around him. "What is that noise?" thought Champ. Pammy too was surprised that the squeak had sounded again. And then again. This time it was louder and Dave heard it too. He looked at Pammy and said, "Yes, Pammy, that squeak was quite clear this time. I wonder what it is." Pammy and Dave checked everywhere to find out what that squeak sound was. They checked for leaky taps, they checked under the furniture, they checked under the beds, but they just couldn't find out from where the sound was coming. Champ decided that he needed to find out where this squeak sound was coming from. He had to solve the mystery for his humans. He didn't want them to worry about the squeak squeak. Champ went around the house, sniff, 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 to try and find out where the noise was coming from, but he just couldn't find it. That afternoon, as Champ was lying down in the yard, he thought about how he was going to go and find the source of the squeak. A crow was flying around the yard, and finally he settled on the fence. "Caw, caw," said the crow. "What's the matter, puppy?" Champ said, "Hi, my name is Champ. There's a squeaky noise that's coming up in my house. I want to find out what it is. That way, my humans will not have to worry about it." The crow said to Champ, "Caw, caw. Oh, I see. Give me some time, Champ. Let me fly around and ask some of my other friends if they know anything about this squeak." The crow took off with a whoosh. Champ saw him flying up and circling his house. Then Crow came back. Along with him was a cat. The cat said, "Meow, Champ. I hear there's a squeak sound in your house. Let me see if I can help you out." The cat walked all around the house and then returned to where Champ and the crow were waiting for her. The cat said, "According to my strong sense of smell and hearing, the squeak seems to be coming from the back of your kitchen. But I don't know exactly what's making the noise." "Let me see what I can do," said the cat. She ran off and then came back with a little ladybug. The ladybug was sitting on the cat's head. The cat said to the crow and to Champ, "I just had a talk with the ladybug. So this is the plan. Come closer, both of you, and I will tell you." So Champ, the crow, the cat, and the ladybug huddled together to discuss the plan of action. According to plan, all of them went to the window at the back of the kitchen. Then the crow sat on the windowsill and with his beak opened the window. He then flew back down. Next, the cat jumped onto the windowsill. The ladybug was still on her head. The cat and the ladybug entered the kitchen through the window. Once inside the kitchen, the cat started walking all around and sniffing. She stopped at the sink. There was a small cabinet under the sink. She sniffed. She said, "Meow," and told the crow and Champ, "I think the noise is coming from there," she said, pointing to the cabinet. The cat said, "Now it's time for the ladybug to get into action." The ladybug slid down the cat's face and went slinking through the bottom of the cabinet. She went in to see whether she could find out what was making the squeaking noise. As she entered the cabinet, there it was again, a squeak squeak. The crow, the cat, and Champ all sat down to attention. They were waiting to hear what the ladybug had to report. The ladybug came out from under the cabinet and called all of them together. She told them what exactly she had seen in the cabinet. So then they thought of a plan to tell Pammy and Dev what they had found. The crow, cat, and ladybug left the kitchen. Now it was Champ's turn to act. He stood at the cabinet and gave two loud barks. Pow, 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 pow. Dev and Pam immediately came to the kitchen to see what the noise was all about. When they came, Champ started scratching the cabinet door. So Pammy said, "Look, Dev, Champ is trying to tell us something." There it was again. Squeak, 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 squeak. This time it was loud and clear. Dave said, "Oh, the sound is coming from the cabinet. Let's look inside." He then went ahead and opened the door of the cabinet. There, sitting in the corner, was a little squirrel. The squirrel told Champ, "Squeak, squeak, I was hungry, and when I looked inside through the window, I saw a peanut on the kitchen floor. I ran to pick it up, and then it rolled. I ran behind it. That's how I landed up in the cabinet. Someone must have closed it behind me. Thank you so much for letting me out." Squirrel then grabbed the peanut and darted out the window. Crow, cat, and ladybug were outside. They saw everything that had just happened. Pammy and Dave were so relieved that they finally knew what the squeak sound was. And now they could sleep in peace. They patted Champ and said, "Good boy, Champ, you helped us out." Dave and Pammy looked out the window to see who Champ was wagging his tail at. They were so surprised to see the animal sitting there. Pammy and Dave laughed and said, "Champ, you seem to have made quite a few friends. That's really good for you." Then they put out some water and food for Champ's friends to have. Champ said, "Thank you, my friends, for all your help." That night, Champ went to sleep knowing that everything was all right in his home, and his humans could sleep in peace too. Good night, Champ, and good night, little one. Have beautiful dreams. Now, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, uncle, or aunt, please do like this video if your child enjoyed the story. Your little ones can see Champ and Leo on their Instagram page. It's Champ and Leo the Doodlebugs. We are also bringing out a monthly newsletter for which you can sign up. The newsletter is filled with fun facts and an activity to keep little minds engaged. Leave us a message on Instagram and we can send you the sign up form. Bye from Champ and Leo until the next story.